We're often asked by our volunteers for guidance about how best to support the children they're working with. It's helpful to remember that many students chosen by their teachers to participate in the online reading program may struggle from a lack of confidence, and you may encounter children who are very shy and hesitant to read out loud. These children will often find reading difficult and may not be getting the additional reading practice they need at home. Reluctant readers often share particular traits or experiences. They commonly lack confidence. They don't see themselves as readers. They've had negative experiences. They know they find reading hard, and they're afraid of making mistakes. If you are supporting a child who is at the very early stages of learning to read, it's helpful to think about learning to read as being like learning to swim. You begin by being fully supported, and this support is gradually released. You learn one step at a time to feel safe. Repeated practice makes all the difference. You succeed when you're given clear guidance on how to improve. Your success provides the greatest motivation. Common difficulties a child might have in the early stages of reading include difficulty recognizing the separate sounds in a word. For example, the E sound in sheep. Difficulty with common words on sight, such as and, the, or for. Struggling to blend sounds together. Missing or making up words. Reading the entire sentence but doesn't understand what it means. If you encounter a child who experiences one of these difficulties, there are strategies you can use to help them master difficult words. You can use the message student box to break the word into word parts. You may want to jot down the difficult word or words and revisit them later in the session using the whiteboard. Consider modeling how to break a word into sounds for them. Sometimes hearing you say the sound as they see it on screen is helpful. For children who struggle to remember sight words like the, one, or for, it's all about repetition. You can highlight these words in a story by clicking on them when they appear on the page. Every time the difficult word appears on the page, click on the word to highlight and draw your student's attention to the word. Over time, the word will become familiar. As you read with your student week after week, you might find the strategies helpful when looking for new ways to keep the child interested in reading. Start the session positively with a comment rather than a question. I've been looking forward to reading with you all day. I can't wait to see what we're going to be reading together. Spend some time reviewing the title page. Comment rather than question. I wonder what this book could be about. Or ask the student questions about what they see on the cover illustration. Can they make a prediction about the story? Create your own story. Go through the story and create your own version or ending together. Read to the student now and then and allow them to simply enjoy the characters and storyline. You may want to stop after each page and ask the student questions about what you just read. Does your reader have a story they love to read? If so, use the revisit and repeat technique. Each time your reader revisits the same story, they become more and more familiar with the sounds that are repeated throughout the story. This repetition helps children remember and sound out words that may have been difficult the first time they read the story. If a child is struggling or seems reluctant, please stick with them and offer them encouragement and praise. It may be that you need to read with your student for less than 30 minutes in the beginning to build up their concentration. You might want to take turns reading and get them to spot any mistakes you make. As you work with your student, keep in mind that rewarding their success is an important component in building reading confidence. It'll boost their self-esteem and make them feel great. While verbal praise is very motivating and should be given often, we also provide several high-five pop-ups you can use to further reward your students' hard work. When giving praise, explain what it was they did so well. Let them know why you feel it deserves praise. Remember, it's not just about the result, it's about the effort. I really like the way you blended all of the sounds together. I can see you've been practicing that difficult word. The way you changed B for D when you got confused really helped you to read that word. You should be really proud of yourself because you kept reading right to the end. Sometimes you might find that your session coincides with another class activity that your student is keen to participate in, and which they ask you if they can go back to. Please don't be disheartened if this happens. If this happens regularly, send a quick message to the teacher, consider changing the session time if you can, or let us know. Occasionally, you may find your struggling reader may appear to be uninterested or be easily distracted. They may even tell you they don't want to read and display challenging behavior. Do remember that being a child is hard work. Each day, they're learning a huge amount about the world around them. Keep in mind that something may have happened in their day to unsettle them. Perhaps they had an argument with a best friend. What can seem like a small thing to an adult could be upsetting to a child. If a child's behavior is challenging in a session, try following these steps. Make a simple, clear request. Gemma, shall we focus on reading the story? Make a closed request. Thank you for focusing so well on the story, Gemma. Frame a positive choice. Gemma, are you able to focus on reading with me, or do we need to stop reading for today? Lastly, if your session doesn't go to plan, remember it's not likely to be about you. Reflect afterwards on whether you could have done anything differently. And if over time you feel that you're not making progress, contact the child's teacher for advice using the messaging part of the platform. Or contact us and we will reach out to the teacher for you.